This video will be based upon the TI-84 Plus. Once you have turned your TI-84 on, press the Y equals key. We will be graphing a function and calculating the minimum and maximum values of that function. Here is the equation of the function which we will be using in this example. Be sure to pause the video and copy it down in its entirety. Once you've typed in the equation, press the Graph button. Depending on the settings of your calculator, your graph should look like this. If you do not see this graph, then press Zoom 6 and you will see the same graph. We would like to be able to calculate the minimum and maximum of this function. You can see there are some twists or bends around the y-axis. However, in order to do so, we need to be able to clearly see where the minimum and maximum are. In our next step, we will be creating a more clear picture of this function. Press the Zoom key. Select the Zoom box option, which is the first option in the menu. Move your cursor around until you achieve a similar position to what you see on the screen before you. Then press Enter. You can move the cursor around using the arrow keys located on the right part of the calculator. After pressing Enter, push the arrow to the right. You should see a line forming, much like the picture in front of you now. If you press the arrows down, you'll start to create a box. Once you have covered a box similar to the one on the picture before you, press Enter. The calculator will re-graph the function, zooming in on the region which you have boxed. You want to be able to clearly see the minimum and maximum of the function. If you cannot, go back to the beginning, restart with a Zoom 6, and draw a new box. In order to find the minimum and maximum, you will need to press the second key and then the trace key. Notice the blue letters which say Calc right up above Trace. This opens up the Calculate menu. We are going to be using the third function, Minimum. You can either press 3 or move the arrow key down in order to select it by pressing Enter. In order to find the minimum, the calculator requires two things, a left bound and a right bound. Select any point that is left of the minimum. Notice that as soon as you press Enter, a little arrow will appear and a new question appears, where is the right bound? Move the cursor to the right of the minimum and select a right bound. It is very important that you actually go all the way past the minimum which you are trying to capture. Here is an example point of where I'm going to be setting the right bound. After you set the right bound, you should see two arrows and the calculator will be asking for a guess. If you like, you can move the cursor closer to the minimum and then press Enter. However, in this example, if you have a similar bounds which I have, you may press Enter anywhere. The calculator will perform the function in order to find the minimum value. Here the minimum value is calculated to be approximately 0.8 repeating and 5.946. Go back to the Calculate menu. Remember that is second Trace, and this time select Maximum. Just as with the minimum, we must perform a little dance where we set the left bound and then set the right bound and then guess. So long as the left and the right bound are on either side of the maximum, you can guess anywhere. This time, we get a strange looking x value. The x value is negative 5.736 e to the negative 7. If you ever have an answer on the calculator where you see an e to the negative 6 or the negative 7, in all likelihood this is a 0. Remember, the calculator can only approximate the actual x value. If you press Trace and then type 0 and press Enter, you will see that the maximum value of 7, which the calculator found, does in fact occur when x is equal to 0. So in this particular example, the maximum, the relative maximum, occurs when x is 0 and y is 7.